Week 1 overreactions. I have two. My first one is I think the Minnesota Vikings are going to the NFC Championship.
Respect.
I think they're going to the NFC Championship. Kirk Cousins provided the game ball to Kevin O'Connell and Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah, the GM, for believing in him. Because Kirk Cousins, for the last couple of years in Minnesota, has had a head coach in Mike Zimmer who has bashed Kirk Cousins behind the scenes and has openly vocalized that he didn't really believe in Kirk Cousins. And despite that, Kirk had is having his best years of his entire career in Minnesota. Kevin O'Connell believes in Kirk. I think the defense played better than I would have seen them play last year. And it came to me when watching the game. Last year's Minnesota Vikings blow that game. They lose the lead. They lose that game. This year's Minnesota Vikings hold on to that lead. Now, I know it's against the Packers and it's the Week 1 Packers, so I'm taking it with a grain of salt because Matt LaFleur isn't good in Week 1 historically
2-2
with Green Bay.
Yep.
So against Philly, this is, I think, a test this week.
Game of the week.
Because Philadelphia is one of those teams like Minnesota that they have a roster in place. It's just dependent on the quarterback and how far that quarterback can take you. So I'm looking forward to that game. I think Minnesota does pull it out, but I have Minnesota making the NFC Championship game and Patrick Mahomes winning MVP. 5 touchdowns, 360 yards, 144 passer rating. I think he showed everybody up. And everybody ate. Everybody. MVS, McCole Hardman, Juju, Travis Kelce, Isaiah Pacheco, Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
The running game looked really good.
Patrick Mahomes completed a pass to 9 different receivers on the team. He spread the ball around, and I think that's Patrick Mahomes at his best. I think he's going to win MVP. And the Chiefs had a 2.89 EPA without Tyreek Hill in that game. That's the second best offensive performance in the Mahomes era.
Bro's a beast. Want to go, Riv? I have one, but I don't remember which one you said you were going to go with, so I don't want to steal yours.
Okay, so go first.
Okay, I'll take the one I'm pretty sure you don't have. I think the Cowboys are going to finish last in the division.
I definitely don't have that bullshit.
We're going to talk about them more in depth later, but the offense with Dak Prescott on the field looked terrible. Him and CeeDee Lamb couldn't get anything going. Him and any other receiver really couldn't get anything going. Dalton Schultz as a safety blanket, he's going to be fine, I think, with Cooper Rush or whoever ends up being quarterback, but they had no real explosive plays. The run game was kind of hit or miss. The offensive line looked bad. The defense looked terrible. Leonard Fournette was rushing all over them. And now they have Cooper Rush coming in. Good luck to Dallas. These next few weeks aren't that bad. They play the Giants, Washington, Detroit, and Chicago for the next 6 or 7 weeks. So there's a couple games in there they can win. But with Cooper Rush starting at quarterback, and with the way the Giants looked, the way Washington looked Week 1, Chicago got a win, Detroit looked good against Philly. These are games that if they went 1-5, 0-6 over this stretch, calling the season.
Real quick to add on to what he was saying. If Dak Prescott was out for an extended period of time and had the potential to miss the entire season, I'm not exaggerating when I say this, Cowboys could be in contention for the number 1 overall pick. That's how bad they looked against Tampa. That's how bad they are without Dak Prescott. That's all I want to say. Go ahead, Riv.
For me, my overreaction is Von Miller's going to win Defensive Player of the Year. I think
It's not expected.
I've been
Your takes really has surprised me in a very positive way.
I've been real Bills Mafia for like the past 3 months.
Do you have Josh Allen MVP?
I'm
DPOY.
standing on that. And then I would have said Diggs, but I can't say Diggs for obvious reasons over there in Minnesota. But I just think when Von Miller walked in, you watch that Rams game. I know the offensive line for the Rams isn't that good, but he just made an immediate impact. You saw him going up against young guys, dominating the game, putting his imprint on the defensive end, and him just being a leader on that defense for the Bills is only going to put him in comfortable position to be defensive player of the year. Now, this is overreaction. I don't know if he's going to keep doing this for weeks on weeks, but for the defense to be elite, I feel like to be on a different type of level, Von Miller has to be that type of player for them for the season. So I got him winning defensive player of the year.
Are you going to say your other one? Because I didn't say it.
I didn't say it either because I thought you were.
Oh, okay. So then obviously on offense, I got Jettis winning offensive player of the year. I just think he's the best receiver in the league. Like you talk about Tay's route running. This man was open all fucking game.
4 yards of separation.
It's just
that is ridiculous.
And the way
to
the
think
Vikings
about.
are using him is kind of like how Kupp is being used
Yep.
in the Rams. They're using him in every different set and showing you the
And
versatility.
in motion, that first touchdown.
What,
in motion.
who's number 91 on the Packers? I'm blanking off the top of my
Stokes?
head.
Preston Smith.
Oh, Preston.
Yes, he lined up on Jettas in the
Yeah.
slot.
Done.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I mean, for me, Jetta's always had the talent. It was just putting him in the right position. And now that he's used the same way like Kupp, I think he's better than Kupp, so he's going to have
not
the
even a
numbers.
question.
He has the ability. He's the best receiver in the league.
I actually saw this to go.
And that's no
against
slight
with,
to Kupp because Kupp had a
Kupp
great
is a
game.
dog.
Yeah, he was.
Kupp is
and
him.
Tay too. They all like showed out to be
And-
like,
and
I'm wide
Jamar-
receiver
Jamar
one.
went
Jamar was
crazy
fantastic.
too.
They was all
these guys.
crazy, but Jetta's just
Jetta
had a different
separated
type of
himself.
ooze to it. Like, it's just
Nah, he's not capping.
He just
Well,
he
he's
was
swag. He's like the swaggiest.
he
out
was
of them.
open
But
every
I'm not-
single play.
And to emphasize that point, he never lined up against Jair.
No, he did once, and they called
he
a
cooked
stupid
him.
ass flag. He cooked Jair. They called a little push off. I ain't seen too much push off. He cooked Jair though.
I
He didn't want
actually
that
saw a
smoke.
tweet from Dwayne McFarland, does some analytics on Twitter. Last year, Justin Jefferson saw 24% of his targets against a linebacker, safety, and primary coverage. In week 1, that was up to 60%. Those targets turned to 5 receptions for 150 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, it's
Kevin
over.
O'Connell said he's going to use him like Cooper Kupp and motion in the slot. When you have a linebacker or safety on Justin Jefferson, it's game over.
I also want to throw my 2 cents in on your statement. I believe that Justin Jefferson's going to break the receiving yards record. And I don't think that that's an overreaction. I firmly believe that. I think that Jettas is, of course, we saw it last season where Cooper Kupp was extremely close. I just think that Jettas is just at another level than Cooper Kupp. And I think that with this opportunity that he has on top of his skill set, I think he does eclipse Megatron. Now for my 2 overreactions. Saquon Barkley is going to lead the league in rushing yards and in total scrimmage yards. Saquon Barkley is going to lead the league in rushing yards, but also in total scrimmage yards. Saquon Barkley was absolutely all-world against the Titans, one of the best rush defenses in the league, averaged 9 a carry. He went for 188 yards and a touchdown. Saquon Barkley was one of the main reasons why the Giants were able to come away with the W against the Giants. Now, my second overreaction is that Michael Thomas is going to return to top 5 wide receiver in the NFL.
Top 5 is strong.
This past
I
weekend,
want to know who comes out.
Me too.
we saw him cook A.J. Terrell on 2 touchdowns. But A.J. Terrell is one of those guys last season that basically was an island. You did not throw to A.J. Terrell. A.J. Terrell was lockup. Michael Thomas is true to his name. You can't guard Mike. Winston realized that, oh, wait, I have Michael Thomas. Let me start throwing to him, and that's when the offense started to change. You're looking at both Saquon Barkley and Michael Thomas, that both of these guys have had their names thrown in the mud. This is the year of the comeback. I firmly believe both of these guys will solidify themselves as top 5 respective in their position.
Before you go real quick, I think I think we had a conversation one day when we was in the show, and I asked you about AJ Terrell. I was like, yo, like, you had him top 5. He was like, yeah, when you have an elite season like that.
You don't think
It's-
twice. Facts, we did say that.
So
Early
my
on.
thing is now, week 1, he comes in and allow those 2 touchdowns in a clutch game against a receiver like that. Being that he was so elite in year 2, there's just it's gonna be a slight downgrade in his.
It was only 2 plays for the touchdown. Joel and I were speaking.
Yeah.
There was one play that Michael Thomas is kind of running.
About
It's
the
a
slant.
rub route.
There it
Yeah.
is. Exactly. It's
So
a
I'm
rub
just
route where
specifically
he's
talking about
kind of
the 2
running
TDs.
around where Jarvis kind of takes AJ Terrell and kind of he forces AJ Terrell to go around Jarvis, which allowed Michael Thomas to get open. But both times that he scored touchdowns, it was Michael Thomas being the bigger body.
I agree. I
That-
think it's just Michael Thomas being fantastic more than AJ
That's
Terrell
why-
laying up a touchdown.
Yeah.
Like the Saints, they ultimately won the game. It was a resilient comeback, but the fact
Jameis.
that their offense didn't get going until the 4th quarter, I think
Crazy.
against the Falcons, I think is a bit of a concern.
I'm with you.
It's not something that's ideal, but in the 4th quarter, I mean, Michael Thomas,
Took over.
it was 4 straight plays where it's a rub route. It's one of like the Saints' best man beaters, and he just runs a wheel and he has a little bit of space. Jameis drops it right in the
It was
bucket.
a perfect pass.
Another zone beater, Michael Thomas on the right side of the field.
Correct.
He wasn't guarded by anybody. And then the 2 touchdowns on AJ Terrell, one where Jameis high points the ball in the back shoulder throw. Like those are great plays. And when a quarterback throws a back shoulder to a receiver, it's unguardable if their chemistry
Correct.
is that good. It's hard to guard. So
That's tough because they
Terrell,
haven't played.
yeah, like
So-
AJ Terrell, I think is still a phenomenal corner,
absolutely.
a top 5 corner. I'm not thinking twice
Absolutely.
about
No
that.
way. I'm with you.
And the Falcons do have a young, good defense. I think they're up and coming. In like a year or two, with
Drake
some
London
good
was
draft
nice
picks, they
yesterday.
can be
Drake
a great
London looked
defense.
really good.
I saw you tweeting about their linebacking core. Give him a follow.
Yeah.
Joel V. Moran. 100%.
Their linebacking core is
That
really
film
good.
was really good.
Drake London was nice, and they fixed his face on Madden. Just wanted to let
Did
y'all know
they?
that. Yes.
I tell you what, man, I was disappointed to
traded
see
A lot
Kyle
of players
Pitts.
on Madden.
No, they fixed all
They
the
don't
rookies.
have their faces.
They fixed Jameson. They even fixed Mechie. So he's still in the game.
Want to do some Boom Fantasy?
Yeah, let's do it.
Dude,
right.
let's
I
go.
traded
do
for
it.
Drake too after I looked at his face. Had to.
He's handsome.
Yeah, your franchise?
Yeah,
He's 6'5".
He's crazy.
he's 6'5".
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
he
big.
looks OD.
Nah, he's
Yeah,
girthy
he
as
led
hell.
he led all rookies in receiving.
I'm the Vikings, so I
74.
traded Thielen from early.
Oh, that's easy. Or you're just taking advantage of the computer at this point.
I don't know, I'm just taking the looks. He has a superstar badge, so automatically, they're gonna say but I have London and Jefferson.
That's tough.
Mariota had a surprisingly decent game.
He did. Yeah,
The
Falcons looked bad at all.
Rushing, he was really good.
The Falcons actually graded out as like one of the best pass protection.
They were supposed to win that game.
Pass protection groups
They
in week
folded.
1.
Saints they turned up.
A lot of ass teams really. It was on fire this
It's
week.
week 1, bro.
But
It's
I
week
do
1.
think-
Weird
They came in
things
for
happen.
blood.
I lost my survivor pool because of the damn Niners, man.
Yeah.
I do agree with what you said though with Michael Thomas and Saquon Barkley. I think that for Michael Thomas for the past 2.5 seasons, there's been a lot of doubt cast on his name and him. For him to come out and have a week 1 performance like that in the fourth quarter was inspiring. And Saquon Barkley, the Brian Dable edition, was huge for him.
It was written in the stars. Brian Dable's an offensive guru. You had to know that he was going to utilize his best offensive weapon.
I just wish Tony was out there. He had 7 snaps.
That was crazy, but when Tony was on the
He
field,
was
he
electric.
was slippery as shit.
But it was the same issue last year with a different coaching staff
You're
where
right.
they didn't want to play him. But when he was on the field, he was clearly
I
their best
wonder
receiver.
if it was worry about injury. I don't know. Maybe they were trying to
Maybe.
limit him, but even still, I
But if
think
you're
you got to
that
go
worried,
for
like
it.
if he's only playing 7 snaps, you might as well sit him so you have an extra special teams. You know what I'm saying?
I'm excited as shit to talk about the Giants.
Yeah,
I really am.
Ironically, Saquon Barkley and Michael Thomas were both players we did Would You Rathers on.
We did. DJ Moore easily. What do I say?
Oh, we're not thinking about
Facts,
this.
facts.
I'm just glad
Shout
that
out
I
DJ
rode
Moore.
for the guys because
How
never
many?
doubted
What
them.
MT have? Like 60 yards?
55.
I told people to sit more. I told them.
And
5
you know
receptions,
Saquon
55
Barkley,
touchdowns.
before that game, he was not like before the season and the season odds, he was not even on the board to win comeback player of the year. And after that game, he is a top 5 pick for that award.